Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about ES6 modules, so let's get into it, or JavaScript modules, whichever you prefer to call it. Anywho, so for those of you who may not know it, a very recent development in the browser allows you to set a script tag that has a type of module, and in essence what that allows you to do is to import different modules or different scripts from within the scripts that you are loading. Sounds easy, right? And basically the idea is very similar to the way we do bundling these days, where you have imports well, it depends on what you're using. I mean, ES6 modules is a module, so it's going to use the import syntax, while it used to be the case, or it still is for many of us, that we use CommonJS or require statements or require functions to import our various modules or the different scripts into the script we're currently running. Now, a lot of people, I've had a few discussions about this with a few people, and I actually did a viewer sent a request for me to have a look at a project that he had been working on, and I went through it and just kind of to give some feedback on the project itself. And he was using ES6 modules. And he had also set the experimental flag in Node, because as of right now, Node does not by default support ES6 modules. And although the browsers, not all of them, but they support this, I talked to him a little bit about this, because the thing is that I've also had another, and this is a little bit dangerous, I think. And this is the sort of thing where it might get a little bit, well, it might get confusing for somebody who, I just want to give you some thoughts on this. On the Google developers page, where they actually list out the information about the ES6 modules and how they work and kind of the considerations you should have when you use those, the article actually states there is this little, it goes through all the things that you need to know about it and the different benefits and the theory behind it, but there's this magical little clause down there at the end, and that little box is green, and it states very, very clearly, it's almost fine print, that as of right now, ES6 modules is not the most efficient way, performance-wise, to load scripts to your page, and you should still use bundling, because sending, when you actually have quite a lot of modules, making multiple network requests. Now I'm talking, of course, about quite a few modules. I mean, it's for a very small project, it doesn't matter all that much. I mean, if you have less than, say, 100 modules or something like that, it's not going to matter super much. But for a lot of modules, or for really big JavaScript applications, it matters a lot. And it brings me back to a discussion I had with another viewer a while back, and let's just say that he was quite upset with my statement saying that HTTP2 at this point in time, together with ES6 modules, is basically a waste of time for you. Because as of right now, the main features for using HTTP2 in an efficient way, in other words, being able to push things and actually being able to load multiple scripts or send multiple scripts at the same time, is all but non-existent. The support is it's extremely hard to get right. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't look into HTTP2. I'm just saying that for production purposes, it is not ready. And that's kind of the statement I made to this person. He was very, very upset at this, because of course this is the way it is, and how can you possibly claim something like that? And I kind of go, well, because I know what people use in the industry. I know what my company uses. I know what all my friends' company uses. I know what people on the blogs are using. I know this stuff. I'm not an expert in everything, but I do know that people are bundling things, and they are bundling for a very good reason. And there is a very good reason why people haven't just migrated over to ES6 modules. And as this made me kind of, finding a statement like that on the actual description page of ES6 modules made me kind of just shrug and say, this is what I've been telling these people. So when I was talking to this person, I was saying that although it's a great idea for you to play around with this and maybe have a bit of an understanding, you shouldn't be adding this to your projects like this. Like, not when you present it as it depends on what you want to do. If you want to showcase the fact that you know about ES6 modules to a possible employer, then this is great. But if you came to me and said, hey, this is production code, I would be very skeptical, because it simply shows that you don't really have an understanding of when to use the technology and when not to use it. And in my world, it's kind of funny almost, because people get excited about ES6 modules when even Google themselves are claiming, are basically stating, I was looking through the possible use cases for ES6 modules, and even the people who are promoting this state that for literally the most useful thing that was on that list was local development. And even that feels like absolute weirdness. Why in the world? It's unless there is one really good use case, and that is if I have a really big JavaScript application and the bundling or the compilation, transpiling of, let's say I've used Webpack, if that time is really, really high, if it takes a lot of time to transpile all of this stuff, and I'm for some reason just using some very basic, without say using React or anything like that, I don't need Babel, for example, then yeah, sure, this would make sense. I could use this for local development. But at the end of the day, I still have to bundle it if I want to use it for real. So in my world, it makes a lot more sense to try to figure out a way to make your bundling efficient, so that, because even for local development, bundling is super, super fast if you know how to do it correctly, or if, as I said, unless you have a really, really big project, it's very hard to gain performance when the project is really, really big. So as for ES6 modules, I don't see the point right now. I think that it's a concept that seems to, all right, it might have benefits in the future, but as of right now, I don't see the point at all. It's in my world, it is pointless to add it to your stack, because even if you were to say have this use case, as I said, that you want for local development purposes to be able to load all these scripts in parallel, even then you would have to go through some hoops and actually structure your project just to support it. And my guess is that if you already have the sort of use case where this makes sense, bundling will probably be equal. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. So what I want you to take away from this is that ES6 modules is something that is, at this point in time, not nearly mature enough to use in production. In production, it seems. And even the people who promote it are stating that you should stick with bundling, and that is my tip to you as well. The question for you is, so should I use ES6 modules, or should I use something like Webpack or Parcel or Rollup or something like that? Webpack, Parcel, and Rollup are used by pretty much, especially Webpack, it's used by most, damn near all of the industry, and bundling is still the way that we do these things. ES6 modules may become something in the future, but not right now. Have a great day.